Attention gamers. Previously on my attempt to overcome my League of Legends addiction by playing arguably the most addicting game ever, I sought to prove that the bigger they are the harder they fall before struggling to kill someone my own size. I learned how to aim my shots and motorboated an Elwyn Hottie before grouping up with an incredibly intimidating group of players to venture into the sunken temple where we solved puzzles, slayed the most successful Sen Jin village spawns, and prepared to fight the final boss who has killed many level 60 players. Whoops, did I make it seem like this fight was anything but a piss in the pond, because we actually smurfed on this shady Drake, and even though he did look my way at one point, it was when he was already past his prime health wise, so yeah, we slayed the shitter. I rocked the biggest damage wiener on the charts. Here's the loot for anyone who can't enjoy a boss fight without seeing it, and it's safe to say we sunk that temple. Anyways, I started to feel a bit lonely in this big beautiful world. It turns out I had far surpassed the average lifespan of most mouth breathers who play hardcore WoW, and I was feeling empty without someone to share this beautiful high-level scenery with. I craved human interaction, and anytime I saw another player I quickly rushed over to them, tried to steal their tag like a total dickhead, and then followed them around hoping to receive any attention from another player, but it turns out they were all just Chinese farming bots. So when I finally ran into a baddie, she was like, "Is that a bone in your pocket, or are you happy to see me?" And I was like, It's Stitch's femur, you dumb slut. Have you not heard of Rab, the avatar master of the hardcore elements? Keep your nasty cragboar ribs breath away from me. But then I remembered that I do want Howard to have a sexy stepmom with a dwarven upbringing, so I listened to what she had to say.
I've noticed that the water seems to have strange qualities.
And what I took from that was she wanted to go skinny dipping in the hot springs. But some douchebag tribe was now cock-blocking me.
And they won't let me come near the two larger springs.
I simped and said I'll make sure she can skinny dip in peace, to which she said,
"Well, I think you'll want to see it for yourself."
So I ran off, picked some feathers to use to tickle her toes. You know all dwarfs have that Frodo Baggins foot fetish going on. Then I killed off the village of man-bear pigs, thinking she'll be so grateful that I cleared the area for our nude hot spring date, but Howard didn't fucking tell me I had a booger hanging out, so it killed the vibe.
It reminds me a bit of the sludge I saw when traveling through Fellwood.
I also apparently killed the wrong village of upright pigs, and she wanted me to genocide the bigger, much dangerous ones, to which I wanted to tell her to piss off, but I remembered how hard it was for a guy my height to get any attention from girls. And considering any time they did acknowledge me, I wasn't exactly the best at flirting, so I went to the village of evolved man-bear pigs, where every fight felt like a raid boss. Only to come back to her and be like, "Is that a yellow question mark above your head, or are you just happy to see me?" And let's just say I was ready to get this butt-naked bath action on, but she was all like, "Oh babe, one more thing, I need you to ride Rebecca all the way into bumfuck Kalamazoo to scout out some zone full of mobs that will easily invert your asshole if they see you, and then I promise we can hot springs and chill." But when I finally get back from that week-long trip, she has the goddamn nerve to tell me this.
"I'd wait until you are a bit stronger if
I tell this bitch to go on the whatever podcast and talk about how her bad breath 4 out of 10 ass with the personality of a literal NPC needs a 6-foot man who makes 100 gold per hour and parses like Ompy.
If you're a broke boy, just say so.
Then I shove some steroids in my ass just to show her what she's missing and let Howard know his dad is gonna be no one's bitch. Thankfully I have some boys who know how to distract me from heartbreak.
Find Gortesh and chop off his fat head!
Murder baby. So I venture over to that tatted Twinkie eater, thinking he's not even an elite, so this will be a walk in the park, but according to my research that's not the case for everyone. But Rav the Avatar has the tools for every situation.
Charge!
Turns out this particular Serta mattress logo was feeling timid, so I chose the backup plan, which was to deploy a mini ice skating rink. Tell Howard to stay focused on giving that ogre a vasectomy while I make the little butt buddy play the most annoying game of Rundown. Gortesh was now looking like Nick Avocado fell asleep sunbathing at the beach, while I just had to aim one shot to deal with his butt buddy. And while I pride myself on stellar RP, I struggled with this one.
Chop off his fat head!
So I sporked his skull, and seeing his noggin up there reminded me of something dank I had.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
And sure enough, by the end of it I was like, Donovan who? Anyways, I had to venture into the plague lands, which I had been warned are quite deadly. These farms had a population density that could only be rivaled by China, but I wasn't having issues as I was using new abilities to dehydrate these shitters, only to stand and laugh at how utterly useless they are without mana. And as I'm looting the coveted tomato soup from the first farm in front of the food stamps line, I'm thinking this game's too easy, but that all changed when I hit up my homegirl Janice for a little ghostly gooch grabbing session as a rebound fling, but she's like, I'm on my period and actually I need you to grab my Tampax from the barn next door, and I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, okay. And not knowing what jealous exes will be in there guarding her menstrual kit, I sent Howard in expecting one or two, but not this. I didn't expect to get rear-ended by a blue skelly, but I wasn't going to let Howard die over just 4 mobs. This spawn was hyper and I had to run. To the left looked like a Kai Senate meet and greet, so I steered clear of that, and then I called Howard back knowing if I just left him there I'd get cancelled for racism, as we scrambled a bit and stayed alive, but these skeletons will apparently chase you all the way back to Coldridge Valley if you aren't careful, and that's when I realized this is when the game gets hard. I decided to take it slow when I came back only to hear this.
I need help.
So I hurry it up, grab her tissue dildos, and with that the first farm was down. Numero 2 was a bit different, as some guy was there making the rest of us look bad, but his name was sus as all fuck, so I had to do some policing. That said, the mobs were still giving Howard infections to the point where every time I sat down to drink he would shit all over me, so I was like, okay, there's a porta potty around here, we will let you get it all out, only for me to realize it was occupied with someone moaning in there. And I'm thinking, what a shitty, no pun intended, spot for someone to get hit with the emergency Chipotle queso shards, but at the end of the day Howard needed it, so I knocked again, only for the dude dropping a deuce to get defensive and come out swinging, which is a situation I've never been in before, but we took care of business so Howard could take care of his, and we were done with the second. Farm 3 featured things that tried to turn me and Howard into dead bitch popsicles, but outside of me having to dry hump the soup pot to be able to click on it, that was smoother than a dolphin dick, and I was ready for the last. This one hit wailing whores that made me hit for literally less damage than I did well before my balls dropped back at level 1, and the second I went to slurp those spaghettios, everyone and their undead uncle wanted to tickle my taint, but after a bit of chaos Howard and I successfully drank chili from all 4 farms in the Plaguelands. Then I'm about to let Howard piss all over some outcast's crypt when I run into 2 Duratar douches with thrall dick on their breath, and even though I know they don't speak the same language I let them know how it's gonna go down as I nab the tag and prep a kiting split pull, only to be reminded that I'm apparently the only toxic asshole that has played too much League of Legends as they clear the quest for me. They tell me jokes, I laugh, and like a foreign hooker that you busted a nut after 2 pumps we share an inexplicable bond over a memory we had together without ever being able to communicate. Anyways, a time fetish midget tells me she needs a yearbook from the local town hall, and all I will need to do is clear through the zone that killed one of our guild's best speed running hunters a few weeks back.
How did... What?
I thought, what's the worst that could happen, as the first mob I attacked turned into 4, as they apparently were all butt fucking each other inside of one of their pixels, but luckily they were green. Howard was mean and this pole was clean, but little did I know of the dangers ahead. A bony 4-pack with some of the most deadly mobs in Azeroth who felt strongly against me getting into the school to grab that yearbook. The first one got flat out erased and I was ready to Amazon Prime me an easy button because this game is a cakewalk, but then the second healed Howard dropped and all of a sudden I was sweating like a blind lesbian at a fish market.
Uh-oh.
Howard was going down, so I planted a face on a stick in the ground knowing if he died I'd be more out of luck than the son of a stripper on Father's Day as I kept kiting back. I managed to weave Howard in and out of the fight to keep him alive, and all I had to do was keep running, but the temptations to go back in that have killed many men before me took over and I greeted thinking I would be fine. I feigned knowing I was under 10%, but I couldn't see my health, and one flaming hot Cheetos queef out of Red Randy here and I'd die, so I chugged a Kool-Aid and just barely survived what would have been a tragedy. I wasn't leaving anything up to chance anymore as I researched which yearbook was correct, and after going full-blown detective I found the one with the shit stain on it and told Chromie I'm not doing another single thing for her entitled time-traveling ass, but it turns out I wasn't the only hunter who had a close call that day and others weren't as lucky.
What? Did Ampi just die? This is our best player. No. No! No! Oh!
And I may not know what he needed to kill that mob for or what it does, but it was going to be my new mission to avenge him.